Okay, thought of another video to make. Today I'm going to show you the lost art of vaquero boomerang throwing. That's not true at all. I was thinking about this today because I was making one. You see once in a while somebody riding a horse around with just a jaw rope on. It'll be a piece of nylon rope or poly rope, be wrapped around the bottom jaw, and they'll have split reins on it. And a lot of people call that a war bridle. I call it an Indian bridle, and they're kind of a handy tool for some things. I used to carry one in my shack pocket, and a lot of times when I was trotting home, I'd take off whatever I had on and put that on, and you can kind of get one really broke between the reins that way, sort of Texan style. Anyway, the whole thing is people call them war bridle. They're not called a war bridle. Like I said, I call it an Indian bridle. The first time I was ever around one was when I was in Argentina, and that's what we started all them horses in and rode them in for a while. And we called it a barquito, which I'm pretty sure literally translates to chin strap. But that's what I first knew it as. So this contraption I've built right here, this is a war bridle. And the Mexican guys I've been around call it a gamera. But this is when somebody's talking about a war bridle, this is what they're talking about. I haven't finished the ends here. I have to heat the forge up to do all that. And this is just a hard twisted rope. And what you do with it is this red piece goes over the nose, and then this goes under the jaw, and this goes over the back of the pole behind the ears, and you pull on this end. The reason it's called a war bridle is because you use it when you're at war with a horse. This is really not all that different than the concept of a stud chain. And in fact, this is kind of a stud chain on steroids because it actually works a lot better. This is not something a guy uses every day. This is something a guy doesn't ever want to have to use. But the whole point of them is when that horse stalls up and won't go, and you pull here, it pulls all the way around and it tightens on their head, and it really does cause enough pain that they will untrack and quit doing whatever they're doing. The difference between this and a stud chain is you probably only ever have to use this once. There have been only a few times in my life on true wild Mustangs, freshly caught wild Mustangs. There's only been a couple times in my life I ever had to pull on one of these. More than about twice, and then they are trotting behind you. Like I said, this is not something I think everybody ought to have. I don't think most people ever really come into a situation where they need one of these, but I was making one, and it just irritates the heck out of me when people call one of those little jaw ropes a war bridle. This is a war bridle. And that's all I have to say about that. And for a quote in honor of the war bridle, I'm going to bring up John Thacker again. He always said, if you're not getting along with your horse, you need to get a dumber horse.